Hi, I'm Alexis, and I'm here with Coach Khokan. Can you tell us a little bit about this facility?
Absolutely. So Institute 3E is a sports performance facility. And one of the things that makes it really unique is that we integrate all different types of professions. So we don't only do strength and conditioning, but we also have yoga, we have meditation, acupuncture, mental conditioning, leadership training. All these elements combined so that we really surround athletes with all elements that are related to success. First of all, it all starts with an evaluation and assessment. And in this assessment, it's not only about where are you physically. So instead of just testing your 1 repetition max for a bench press, we also want to know a little bit about you. What are your goals? What do you feel are your limitations? So part of this whole assessment is also sitting down with Gary Parks, our mental conditioning coach, and figuring out where do you need to go. So part of the education from a strength and conditioning perspective is teaching you about your body, about stretching, about exercising.
So we're here with Coach Khokan, and he's going to take us through a physical assessment, which is one of the first things that the professional players do when they come to Institute 3E.
So great to have you here. Let's get into the assessment, okay? I'll bring you through some tests. So the first thing that we're going to look at is posture, okay? So we're going to focus on the hips today, okay? Because everything from the hips on down, the knees, ankles, sometimes injuries happen there. It all kind of goes back to what's really also happening at the hips. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to stand right here. This is what we call a posture grid. You're going to stand here facing this way, okay? So step a little closer forward, right to my hand. Perfect, right there. So we're looking at having everything in alignment. Now specifically at the hips, I'm going to find 2 landmarks, okay? One is what's called the PSIS in the back here and ASIS in the front. This is your pelvis. And I'm looking at these landmarks and I can tell that this ASIS, my fingers in the front here with my left hand, are lower than my right. That's telling me that your hip flexors and your low back extensors, so your low back muscles, might be tight. And your low abdominals and your glutes, hip extensors in the back, might be a little bit weak. So I'll bring you to the next test, okay? You're going to come right here. Your hips are going to be halfway off the table. You're going to grab hold of your left leg, and I'm going to help you lie back down, okay? So scoot over this way, hanging halfway off the table, grab hold of your left knee, and now lie back. Good. There you are. How you doing there?
Good.
Good. You can relax your arms. I'm going to grab hold of your leg, and I'm going to put my hand on your low back. I'm just going to test out right now. What we're looking at right now is your right leg. And relax it completely. You see how it's hanging way up above the table?
Yeah.
That's because your hip flexors are tight.
Okay.
Normally, if they were relaxed, if they wouldn't be tight, the knee would be hanging below the table. I'm also looking at your quads now to see if they're tight. If they're tight, your knee would be straight out like this. You can actually do this at home. If you bring a table next to a mirror, let's say, lie back down, pull your knee in until you feel your back flatten against the table, and look into the mirror. See what the leg hanging down is doing. Is it hanging way up above the table? Your hip flexors are tight. You better off stretch them. And are your quads tight? Is your leg straight out like that? Well, then you better stretch your quads. And just like that, by doing one test and then the other, we're able to evaluate what do we need to focus on.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding out which muscles to strengthen, and then that's how we create the plan.
Khokan, we know that Rick DiPietro is recovering from a hip injury. Can you show us some of the exercises that he'll be doing to strengthen his hip?
Absolutely. In order to strengthen the hip following surgery, it's very important that you keep certain structures in the hip nice and loose. Hockey players are notorious for having tight iliotibial bands, the IT band. So what we do is we do something called an IT band foam roller exercise. So what I want you to do is I want you to come down. You're going to be on your side. Good. You're going to place the foam roller so that it's right below the hip joint. Good. Your hands are there. Now you want to stack both legs up, and you're going to be rolling. Good. Roll the hip all the way from your hip to the knee, back and forth. Yep. Back and forth.
This must be hard for him to do after surgery.
How does it feel?
Hard to do.
A couple of tender points there?
Yeah.
If you find a tender point, you want to focus on it and really roll it out. in this IT band, adhesions will form and create a lot of tightness. So this foam roller can actually help really roll it out. Yeah, I warned you, it wasn't going to be comfortable.
It's really hard, like right here.
So you know what? You can get these foam rollers for pretty cheap, and in my opinion, every hockey player should be using this. You can get a foam roller, roll each leg out for a good minute to 2 minutes, and no matter how tender it is at the beginning, you do this for 2 or 3 weeks, you'll notice the difference. You go back down on it, it won't feel as tender anymore. It'll feel a lot better.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. This is what it takes to be the best you can be from Coach Khokan.